Austin asked if I had butterflies.
Turn right to I-275 north.
He says he's cold, but it looks like he's got some butterflies.
It's cold.
Last night?
Yeah, we got in. We landed at about like 10.
Yeah.
Luggage, all that. Made it to the hotel. Went and found like the only place that was open and found some food and went to bed after that, man.
Good deal. Good deal.
Excited for this, dude. It's gonna be
Yeah,
nuts.
man. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah. So you training? Are you training for Worlds right now?
Nationals. Which will be in June. So I've got
Was the last competition, did that qualify you for nationals?
So I actually didn't find that out. I actually don't know that.
Okay.
I think it does.
Okay.
Because it should qualify me.
Right.
But yeah, I'll have to go find out. Because they change it every year.
Right.
So I have to find out. If it didn't, I would just go in and
Right.
go in and
Okay.
throw up some total and do that. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we'll see. I got plenty of time. First time in Tampa, or you been there before?
Yeah, first time Tampa. Been into Orlando, Miami, like way back when I was a kid. But that's third time ever in Florida.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna look at my video, guys. Waiting out there.
Okay.
What's your name, boss?
Austin.
Yeah, this is Austin.
Nice to meet you.
So Austin is video for me, but me and Austin have known each other since I was in third grade. So
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
we've been friends a long time.
Cool.
They got a full out of waiver here. Today we're here with someone I've looked up to for a long time. We're here with Dr. Layne Norton. If you're into fitness at all, you've probably heard of Layne. Layne's an absolute freaking beast. He's been killing it when it comes to fitness for a very long time. You've been training people like how long has it been?
Well, I've been in the industry for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Started first putting out content for bodybuilding.com, I think in 2002.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, over 20 years.
It's nuts. Like Layne has been at this before I like even knew of fitness. You know, like I was just a little kid, so it's actually.
I'm just old now.
No, he's old. He's old, but he freaking will destroy me today with what we're doing. So, do you think when it comes to weightlifting, fitness, is that something that can help people improve when it comes to gaming as well?
I mean, I think a couple things. I think one, if you're physically healthy and in better shape, there's very few things you don't do better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the research actually shows pretty clearly that there actually is some cognitive benefit, and not a trivial amount of cognitive benefit either when it comes to lifting weights or exercise in general and cognitive function. So obviously, if your cognitive function's better, reaction time's better, that's all benefit for gaming.
Right.
And just quite frankly, like, one of the worst things we can do is just sit for long periods of time, right? And if you're going to have a lifestyle where that's a big part of it, and that just doesn't go for gaming, also goes for a sedentary job. It's so important to spend, an hour a day or something like that, just going out, or even half an hour, just going out and moving, even if it's not resistance training, just walking or jogging or whatever it is that gets you up and moving. That's so important for the human body. And not just for cognitive function, for physical, but also mental health. Again, one of the best things that they found in terms of non-medication for depression and anxiety is physical training, is resistance training. And so I think a lot of people have this impression that resistance training means I do what Layne does, which is 2-3 hours a day.
Yeah.
No, you get almost all the benefits from 30 to 60 minutes a day.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be in there a long period of time. I'm just sick and I like being in there for a long period of time.
Right. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of like therapy session when you come into the gym for some things. So
I always say, if I can lift heavy stuff, life feels a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
I'm going to butcher the quote, but he said something to the effect of, what gives you comfort today will give you discomfort tomorrow.
Yes.
Which basically is, whatever makes things easier in the short term tends to make things harder in the long term. So if you don't want to deal with the discomfort of physical activity, in the future you will deal with far more discomfort from non-communicable illness, reduction in quality of life, sarcopenia, you know, so what you have to invest in the front end is way less than what you will pay on the back end if you don't do those things.
Right, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of like like you said, it's kind of like law of life when it comes to pretty much anything. So, man, what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna jump into a deadlift workout today. Layne's actually a world champion powerlifter, so we're gonna see if we can keep up and how things can go today.
It'll be a light day for me. It'll be a light day.
Okay, yeah, it'll be a light day. All right, man, let's crush this.
Short break in the video to tell you about the best diet app out there, Carbon. I've been a paid subscriber and user of Carbon ever since it came out in early 2020, and it's something I've recommended to friends, family, and tons of pack members, and it's helped them tremendously when it comes to controlling and manipulating your weight. How it works, it uses smart diet coach technology to do your calories, your macros, and weekly check-ins, and it keeps you on track and makes adjustments to those to make sure that you hit your goal. It doesn't matter what your goal is. It could be to lose weight and lose fat, to maintain your weight, or to gain weight and put on muscle. It's amazing at doing all those things, and the great thing about it now is we're now partnered with them. So if you want to learn more, hit the link in the description down below. I'm one of the very few people in the world that has a discount link for Carbon, so check it out.
You know, so many people spend so much time static stretching.
Yep.
And there's almost no evidence that static stretching reduces risk of injury. But there is some evidence that like getting your heart rate up before you start, you know, a training session can help. And then doing a sport specific warm up, which even though I'll end up deadlifting over 600 pounds today, I'll still start out with a single plate, you know. Because I'm just doing that kind of repeat process of, you know, making sure I have that warm up the same every time.
Right. Work your way all the way up.
Yeah. So what's your best deadlift?
My deadlift?
Yeah.
My max?
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I imagine it's right about 600.
Oh, okay.
I have pulled more than that in the past.
Yeah.
But it was when I was training more specifically for powerlifting.
Yeah.
So I would say roughly it's gonna be right around 6'6".
Gotcha. That's a good deadlift, man. What's your body weight?
What was that?
What's your body weight?
About 217 right now. So pretty solid weight, but
oh, that's good. That's very good.
I used to follow like almost exactly your type of training style.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The hybrid?
I would do a push-pull leg split, and I mean it was high volume, and it was back right after high school. I got into powerlifting for a little bit.
Gotcha.
So I did just like a couple competitions, and
oh, you did? That's cool.
nothing big, just some little local ones. Nothing like you.
Oh, they're fun. It doesn't matter if it's local or world. It's fun.
Right.
I got these on just for, might do some bench press.
Those are nice. What are those?
These are the Adidas Powerlift Trainer.
Right.
I think it's their fourth iteration of it. So I like these because I've used like Olympic lifting shoes.
Right.
And I do like those, but they have a cupped heel, which basically, hard to describe, but essentially you feel like very solid. You feel like your feet are poured in concrete, which is nice. But for whatever reason, whenever I've used those, I've ended up getting adductor strain. I think it's because the cupped heel doesn't allow me to move as much as my body needs to, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I switched to those because it's more of like a normal heel or normal shoe.
Right.
And the heel's not as aggressive, and I tend to get like less injuries with those.
Right.
It could just be bullshit. It may not. It could just be coincidence, but
there's
I've
probably
had
something to it.
I'm able to like keep my feet a little bit wider and push out better when I squat. Whereas with the cupped heel, I kind of have to go a little more narrow, and I can't push out as much. So it's all personal preference. A lot of people who are like, don't lean over as far as I do, they really like the Olympic ones because they can stay really upright.
Right.
But for me, I'm never going to be upright no matter how you slice it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I remember you were actually one of the first people I ever heard talk about that when it comes to squatting.
Yeah.
And how basically someone's biomechanics, depending on how long their femurs are compared to their tibia, is going to determine how far you need to bend with your torso.
Well, you got so many people who will get so frustrated and actually end up like not squatting or you know, just be really frustrated because they keep trying to force themselves to be upright. And the reality is like, hey, this segment right here, your femur, you have to clear that. Like that has to move one way or another out of the way for you to get your hip below your knee joint. And there's essentially 2 ways you can do that. 1 or 3 ways. One is by forward knee travel.
Right.
The other is by external rotation. And the next one is by leaning forward, right? But if you're somebody who has a really long femur, you have more to clear. You either have to lean more forward, you have to externally rotate more, or you have to get more forward knee travel. About the same height. But if I put my hips up next to yours, the top of my hip is probably about 1.5 inches above yours, right? So, and you can see it in the back angle too on the deadlift. We're both pulling sumo. Yours is more upright than mine. So again, a lot of people will get frustrated by that, or they'll look at mine and they'll go, "You're like doing a stiff-legged sumo." And I'm like, well, I can only dip my hips down so far because to pull, your scapula have to be directly over the bar. Otherwise, if you just lean back more, when you start to pull, it just pulls you forward because it has to be in a straight line with that bar.
Something I just recently heard you talk about too. It was on Brad's podcast. Talking about like rounding in the back. And how actually there's not really any evidence that rounding causes more of an injury.
Yeah, that's again one of the big misconceptions out there is that rounded back is going to lead to injuries. I think I have injured my back rounding it. But that was when I used to pull with a very straight back. And so what would happen is my back would be straight until I'd get like overreached or fatigued, and then it would start to round, and then I would get injured because my body was not, those tissues were not adapted to handling that load in, under those conditions. So when I stopped trying to fight that and started to let I go for basically neutral lower back, but my thoracic is very rounded. When I stopped trying to fight that, ever since then, I really haven't injured it. So, again, part of that's like what's correlation versus causation. But if you look at the research literature, there's not really much good evidence that pulling with a rounded back is gonna lead to injury risk or increased injury risk. Now, again, if you're used to pulling one way, go heavy and it changes, that's probably an increased risk. But you see this. You see guys who pull 700, 800, 900 pounds with a round back and don't injure themselves, but they've always pulled that way. And so I think that's one of the things I'll tell people is like, hey, try to get your technique good, but if your body keeps going back to something, sometimes if you're fighting it, if it's continuing to go back to that when you're heavy, you're better off just lifting all your sets like that. Probably the greatest female squatter in the world, Leah Bayatelli, I mess her name up. She's the French national champion. At 140 pounds-ish, she squatted 474. When she squats, first off, she leans very far forward, and when she squats, her knees do this when she comes up. And all the comments on her video are, you're gonna blow out your knees. She's never had a knee injury. ever. She's always squatted like that. Doesn't matter if it's 135 pounds or 475 pounds.
Yep.
That's how she squats, and obviously those tissues have adapted to it.
And, you know, I was kind of curious when it comes to warming up. Is there like a general idea, like when someone say they're working up to a higher weight on a deadlift or a squat, something you should be focusing on doing?
I mean, so if you look at the research literature,
Right.
there's no like specific warm-up protocol in terms of weight progression
Right.
that produces better outcomes or prevents injury risk more. What's more important is what do you feel comfortable with, something that you repeat every time,
Yep.
and whatever gets you like kind of psychologically aroused for it.
Right.
So like I just, on squats, I'll usually start out with 135 and I'll jump 80 pounds at a time, right?
Yep.
On bench, I'll jump more like 50 pounds at a time. On this, I'll jump 90 pounds at a time.
Right.
And my body just knows, you know, hey, when we get to 585, that's the last warm up,
Right.
and then we turn it loose. And, you know, that's just always worked for me. So I think it's more about, you know, just making it a repeatable process.
Right. Right. That's interesting. One of the things I don't think, at least someone who's like first gotten into lifting or maybe isn't a lifter, they don't really understand what you're doing with a belt. Like a lot of time they think it's like bracing. They think that that's like holding you in place when it's actually you're bracing against it. So
Yeah, belt only, a lot of people think the belt is for like the area of the lower back.
Right.
It's actually for your abdominal wall. It gives you something to push against and counterbalance, because if you're on a deadlift, you know, conventional or sumo,
Yep.
the only thing that stops you from just doing that is this and this,
Right.
So again, when I'm sumo, like here, I'm bracing this because this is what's going to hold my spine in a neutral position and give me the power to pull that off the ground. A lot of people use the cue of just, you know, arch your lower back, arch. Well, that's not the, you're dealing with the weight is in front, and so that is the, if you had the weight back here, like on a, say a good morning, yes, arching, you still need to use this.
Right.
But here, this is where a lot of your power is getting generated from.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the point of the physics term's gonna escape me, like the moment arm, right? Or it's the fulcrum right there.
Yeah.
So making sure that's locked in.
Right.
So you're not, you know, leaking
So
energy.
that's not becoming the fulcrum.
Right,
in your
right.
gut.
You know, so you're not leaking energy, I guess would be the term.
Have you found, besides like when it comes to the lift, is there anything that you've been able to figure out with yourself, a way to measure that without picking weight up, basically?
So like kind of predict how I'm going to perform that day?
Yeah. Is there anything that you found that can be useful for that sort of thing?
I mean, you know, in general, if I got better sleep the night before, you know, just feeling more alert, you know.
Do you trust in those, like the Aura Ring or like any of the, like the Whoop or the things that track your sleep and they kind of tell you, oh, this is...
So I think this is where I talk to people about guidelines versus rules, okay? So again, a guideline would be, okay, if you slept better the night before, more likely you're gonna perform better, but not always. And not even like a huge majority of the time either, you know? So like, yeah, in general, if you slept better the night before or leading in, you should perform better. But the best squats, the best set of squats I ever did for reps was 535 for 10. And that came after I got 0 hours of sleep the night before.
That's insane.
So what I tell people is be careful that things like an Aura Ring or a Fitbit that are trying to predict your readiness, that they're not actually noceboing you. So a nocebo is, let's say you wake up and your Aura Ring says, oh, you didn't sleep that well, you're under recovered, you know, may not be a great day in the gym. Well, if you put that in your mind and you come in, it's probably not gonna be a great day, right? So the way I do it is I keep those factors in mind, but I always try to wipe the slate blank when I come in and say, let's just see what's there, right? Because, you know, who cares if I didn't sleep that great? If it's moving and I feel good, who cares, right? By the same token, I could have slept great, all the metrics are lining up, and if it's just not there, then it's just not there. Why am I going to try and force it? So I think those things are somewhat useful, but I think people put way too much stock in them as well.
Right.
Yeah. Use it as a guideline, not a rule.
Right.
Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go.
He's doing a really nice job of what we call, mind if I grab those straps actually?
Absolutely.
So for my last couple warm-up sets, I'll usually do straps only, and then I'll go to my grip.
To not burn your grip out?
Yeah, exactly. So you're doing a really nice job of pulling the slack out of the bar, we call it. So when I say pulling the slack out of the bar, that clicking sound, that's slack in the bar, and a lot of people just will try to yank the bar off the floor, end up getting out of position, when in reality you want to use your lats to kind of pull that slack out of the bar so that then all you have to do is press the floor away with your legs and the bar moves smoothly. If you're trying to yank it, a lot of times it'll be like real, you see people who like they'll deadlift and it looks like two separate movements. That's when they're just yanking it as opposed to, you know, gathering themselves and really getting their lats into it.
Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
This will be interesting.
Now, really won't know what to do with your data because we don't have anything to reference it on.
Right.
But it'll be interesting to see, you know, what your speed is. My guess is you'll pull this faster than me, but I'll still pull.
It's probably not a good thing. Then.
Well, not necessarily. I'm a pretty slow lifter in general.
Right.
You won't usually see me absolutely smoke stuff. But the research also shows that, I mean, speed is very individually dependent, but as lifters get more advanced, their 1 rep max speed actually slows down. And a lot of that is just because they end up learning the skill of how to grind the lift and recruit more muscle fibers.
Right. I can't remember exactly where I heard it, but I've heard that, you know, power lifters, Olympic lifters, my bad, I don't know what I'm doing here. That you're trying to, even with like 135 pounds, you're trying to lift the bar the same way, the same speed as if there was 500 pounds on the bar.
Yeah, I mean, so there's actually a recent study that came out that actually showed, it's gonna seem really counterintuitive, training close to failure for strength is actually suboptimal. So basically, you have to do some heavy sets close to failure, like above 80% of a 1 rep max.
Right.
Because you have to develop the specific skill of strength expression. But if you are grinding lifts a lot, like if you're doing lots of reps, for example, like let's say, for example, for me, I could probably do 500 for 10 on squat. Like if I went all out, right? But my last few reps would be very slow. And since force is mass times acceleration, strength is the expression of force, you applying force. So you can apply the same force to 400 pounds that you can to 600 pounds, it's just gonna move faster, right? So in powerlifting, the most important thing is to move a given load as fast as you can for that load, right? Now, if you're doing 600 pounds, you're gonna move a lot slower than 400 pounds. but at any given load, move it as fast as you can.
Right.
But what we do is we will do one or two heavy sets with singles or doubles or whatever.
Yeah.
And then we'll go way down. So instead of doing a set of 500 for 10, where I'm grinding the last few reps,
yeah,
we're doing sets of 4 or 5,
right,
so that my speed is still good on every rep, because it's much more force output compared to if I was like grinding those last few reps.
Right.
Now bodybuilding is actually a little bit different.
Right.
Bodybuilding, to grow muscle, you do have to get close to failure, and the closer you get, tend to get better results.
Right.
So now, obviously, people who get very strong grow muscle.
Yeah.
People who grow muscle get stronger. But one of the reasons that you'll see bodybuilders who are so big, let's say, wow, why aren't they stronger? Or
Yeah.
vice versa, see somebody like me
Yep.
who could out squat a lot of the huge guys
Yeah.
in here.
Yep.
It's just the way we specifically develop that skill.
Yeah. Do you think a big part of that when it comes to the strength is just because your nervous system, you can't recover fast enough, that if you're always pushing your strength to failure, it seems like you wouldn't be able to recover?
Well, so
you
that's
can adapt?
the other part of it is, like, we talk about stimulus to fatigue ratio, right?
Right.
So if you do, like I said, a set of 10 to failure, high stimulus, but very high fatigue as well.
Right.
Whereas if we do, I could do, 4 sets of 5 or something like that, still keep my speed pretty high. The stimulus is decently high.
Right.
And the fatigue is relatively low.
Right.
Right. So in powerlifting, we are really trying to, because you will accumulate so much fatigue over
Yep.
the course of a training block, we're trying to maximize that stimulus and minimize that fatigue.
Right.
Nice. All right, so that was 0.38. That's very fast.
Yeah.
So I will not pull it that fast. I can
Uh-huh.
almost guarantee you that.
Okay. I almost think it's like, I think you probably, it's almost, I would imagine part of it is like the anxiety attached to the lift. As you get more used to powerlifting, you're doing the weights, I'd imagine you get more comfortable almost to the point where it kind of slows you down. You're more calm coming into the lift.
Yeah, I think part of it is that
Yeah.
you just get more comfortable with like the positioning and things being slow if
Right.
they need to be. But also, like, people are just very individually dependent with speed. You know,
Yeah.
if you look at when I set my world record squat back in 2015, it's been broken many times since then, of 668 pounds.
At the Arnold?
Warming up in the warm-up room, my last warm-up of 520, I probably squatted it the slowest out of all the top 10.
Uh-huh.
But I still squatted the most.
Right.
So it is very, very individually dependent.
In the dead of the night, when the world is sleeping, I'm out here fighting. My soul is seeking, sweat on my brow, fire in my eyes. I'm chasing dreams, no compromise. Every punch I take, every step I make.
Yeah!
Go, Layne.
Closer, I won't break. With the heart of a lion, I'll face my fears. In this ring of life, I persevere. I rise, I fight, I won't back down.
Nice.
A little slower than I wanted it, but
Still crushed it.
that was probably about a 7 as opposed to a 6. But it'd be like that sometimes.
Right.
600 loaded. You want some headphones?
Austin's he's gonna hook me up here.
There we go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go, Colton. You got this. Easy money.
retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want.
Big breath, let's go.
Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boy, you love with the cold hard hatred.
Yeah.
I can
Nice.
feel the vibe in the streets. It's a
Woo.
new sensation.
Nice. That was just as fast as your 585.
What?
That was just as fast as your 585, same
yeah.
speed. Good work, man. Whew. What's my excuse?
Let's go, man.
I deadlift every week.
It's all in the mind, man. It's all in the mind. Holy crap. Big lift. How he's adjusting in between, like another one after that. Let's go, Layne.
Cause we just want retribution. Let's get out the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. With gods in the weak, harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.
Let's go. Man, I think you literally bent the bar on that last drop.
What's that?
I really watched the bar bend on that last drop there. I swear. Oh.
You gonna take this or you wanna go down?
I think maybe 500
Okay.
is what I'll go to. After you go and hit, like say you hit a big lift, your second lift into a power meet. Right after that, are you trying to like bring yourself back down, calm down in between as much as you can? What's your mindset going into your third lift then afterwards?
That thing moved over quite a bit.
Oh, I think he's got that music blasting.
You can see the writing on the pavement. Young kids, they're growing up in basements. Online, a whole new generation. I'ma make mine, so you better go take it. Always, they need a new replacement. Decentralized, can't contain it. We're changing lives, yeah, upgrading. Call it suicide if they don't generation.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to fly, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah.
Dude, my last set was hook grip. My hook grip's starting to get a little gnarly.
I imagine you have to limit that so you don't like rip through your thumbs.
They say the good die young. No, you should say what is done is done.
And when the night gets wet, something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt to fall and save it.
What keeps you up at night, yeah? Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.
Faster. Did you do that on purpose?
What's that?
Seemed like each rep got faster.
Yeah, not based on the unit, but I don't always know with deadlifting because I think it biases it so much towards the initial speed off the ground.
Yeah.
But it felt good.
No, those look good.
Let's go, Colton.
I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're causing them wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're causing them wrong. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're causing them wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old
right. All right. Now I've got halting. So I'm just going to do one warm-up
Okay.
rep.
With, you want
With
these
the
versus
straps, yeah. Just want to see how it feels. I don't know if you want to join me in these or continue to do straight sets. You might
So,
just.
what are you doing next?
So I've got sets of 6, 2 sets of 6 with halting.
Okay.
Last week I did 535, but I'll just do a single rep here just to make sure I feel
Right.
good.
Right.
It feels like it's in the right space.
Okay. You're gonna you're gonna go pause to 6 sets or 6 reps.
Yep.
How
But
many
this
sets?
will- just 2.
Okay.
So you're welcome to join me in that, or
Yeah,
you can-
I'll join you. We'll have to obviously drop it down, but.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink, cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the
So you can see I just kind of break the floor,
Yeah.
hold it for a sec,
Right.
and then finish. So a lot of it just
I
like
mean,
learning to keep
that's
yourself.
impressive that you can even stop like on the rep and then, because like, I mean, most of, you're generating all that power off the floor. That's typically the sticking point on a
sumo.
sumo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're literally stopping yourself in the sticking point and then,
Yeah, they're pretty
that's
gnarly.
crazy, bro.
They're pretty gnarly.
That's crazy.
I think for a while I was doing like singles with that. I think one day I hit like 655 on a halting deadlift.
Holy crap, man.
That was gnarly.
That's
was
so
gnarly.
wild. That's wild to see.
What
I've
did
seen
you,
you do these before, but like when you really see it in person, you stop and like, holy shit.
What did you want to go on here for?
I'll probably adjust off of what. Are you gonna do 5?
No, whatever you want to do.
Right.
You want to drop it down to 455?
Probably something like that.
Okay. I really don't like how bad he's showing me up here,
What?
because he's gonna kill me in fucking gaming, and he's like hanging with me on this, which is fucked up.
Dude, well, the thing was, I was always, gaming was kind of something I always had like a passion for me, but I love lifting just as much as I love gaming.
Yeah.
I've been lifting for a flipping long time, and I've learned from the best, I've literally learned from Layne.
The
So,
student has now become the teacher. Don't get too sticky about when you try to pause it. Just do it when it feels comfortable.
okay. Wait, were you saying when you pause, actual pause reps?
Oh,
I was gonna do the same reset reps that I thought you were talking about.
Oh, okay. So you're not gonna pause.
No. I won't do the pause. I think that's a bad idea for me to do.
Okay, that's fair.
No,
if you're not comfortable with it,
No,
do not
I'll
do
do
it.
I'll do 6, but I'll just do the reset reps like we just did.
Cool.
Just because I'm not training in that
No,
way ever before, yeah.
don't do anything you aren't comfortable with.
Right. All right.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip, and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe
how'd you get into using carbon? I mean, I assume from following me.
So yeah, the first time I ever heard about carbon was from you, yeah. I think I kind of heard, I think you had talked about it a little bit while you guys were developing it.
Uh-huh.
You know, before that, I used some other tracking apps, but when carbon came out, and it can take the guesswork, right, out of trying to figure out how to adjust your calories or your macros, and you can rely on the app to get you where you want to go.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
I think that's the thing that people miss. I have people all the time will say, why should I buy this thing from you or that thing from you?
Yeah.
You put all this free information out there. I'm like, well, yeah, that's assuming that you're going to make the right decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because we're all, it's the same reason I get coaching, the same reason I use the app myself.
Yep.
Because I do dumb stuff when left to my own devices, you
Yeah.
know? So I think just having something to take the guesswork out of is real beneficial for a lot of people.
There's the psychological benefit behind it, where like, because if you don't know how to adjust your calories and your macros, if you ever like learned, oh, okay, my weight's sticking at this point, do I drop?
Right.
Do I stay the same? Is it just because I'm retaining water? Like, what do I do? Right? Instead, it's like, you know what? The app's telling me this, I'm gonna stick to it.
Well, the other thing too is like when you're, to your point, do I drop, do I not drop? A lot of times you'll have a weight fluctuation day to day that can be really frustrating, but since the app is using rolling averages, it has a much better idea of like where your mass actually is trending.
Right.
Because day to day your body weight moves so much based on fluid.
Yep.
But actual mass changes are more like week to week, month to month.
Especially if it's like the day where you're gonna make that decision. You weigh in that morning, you're like, wait, my weight's like stuck 3 pounds up. But yesterday it was here, so what do I do? Right? It's kind of that psychological side of it where it just kind of takes the stress away from it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's what, like $10 a month?
$9.99.
$10 a month for something you'd be paying a coach hundreds of dollars to do for you.
Right, exactly.
So,
and that's, I think, I think there's always a place for one-on-one coaching.
Yeah.
Especially for people who need more support.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who maybe have emotional eating issues or, need like more strategies for how to manage situations.
Right.
I think that's, there's always going to be a place for that.
100%.
But for people who can't afford that or who really they do know what to do. They just want something to take the guesswork out of it for them.
Yes.
It's a great tool.
100%.
I mean, I've been using it for 4 years now, ever since the beta version came out.
Yeah.
And I mean, every time I go to drop body weight or I go to increase body weight or I go to maintain, it literally hits it within like 0.1 or 0.2 pounds in the time period I pick. So I'm a big fan. I'm biased, obviously. But
I've been using it ever since it got released.
Really?
And
awesome.
Ever since you released it, I've been using carbon, and I've used it to gain weight. I've used it to lose weight, maintain, or do a reverse diet.
That's awesome.
And that's usually, rather than trying to actually usually gain, I usually set it to reverse diet and just try to get my calories like up as high as I possibly can get them without.
That's awesome.
Bring the noise!
Let's go, come on.
Let's go. Hey. Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name. Oh, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up.
Yeah, let's go.
Point of living if you ain't having fun. I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find that. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer.
Now I finally woke up.
Let's go. You demolished those, man. You demolished those.
Woo. My body makes no sense. It's like.
So you gotta get ramped up, almost.
What's that?
It's like you almost get more ramped up into your workout. You're gonna build throughout.
Well, I think here, geez, Tyler. I think it's like I know I can do 635.
Right.
Done it a billion times.
Right.
And even if I'm trying to get myself amped up, I know I'm going to do it, you know?
Right.
Whereas this, it's like kind of new. So, I don't know, it like adds an extra layer of like, what could happen, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there's, people always say, and it kind of goes along the same, maybe the same lines as like a placebo effect or a nocebo.
Sure.
Where it's like your mind, there's
Novel
something
stimulus.
about training the mind, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing when you can go into the lift, you get yourself more amped up, you're raising that, it's almost like the stronger your mind gets, the stronger you get still.
Yeah.
So,
455 again, or you want to go up? What do you want to do?
let's go 455.
455?
Yep. Go up.
See, I might not have, he might have got me on the top end, but I have stamina.
I didn't even get him on the top end. What's he talking
It
about?
looked prettier though. Yours looked prettier.
Hey, I see what's going on. It's that championship mindset right there. Is what's going on. Layne in his head is like, hey, Colton's coming in here doing all this. Now he's like, all right.
Fuck this motherfucker.
Yeah. That's that Michael, that's that Kobe, that's all that. That's Tim Grover right there. That's what that is.
Welcome to my world. No, you know, it's funny though. I'm very competitive, but I don't look at my competitors as like, fuck that guy, I'm gonna like do this and that.
Right.
Like, obviously, like we're not fighting, you know.
Right.
But like a lot of people have that kind of mentality, like you said, Kobe, Michael, whatever.
Yeah.
But like I think I'm almost like I'm so amped up, but I'm so friendly to everybody I'm competing against. I think it kind of freaks them out, to be honest.
Yeah.
So when I was at World
It's a little different.
When I won Worlds, the guy who I was going up against was the Mexican champ. He had won 3 Worlds in a row, and I was nominated 90 pounds under his total. So he was ranked basically to beat me by 90 pounds.
Right.
Now I knew the meet I had registered wasn't my best, it wasn't my top end.
Yep.
But I was a pretty big underdog going into that.
Yep.
But I knew I was going to win. Like,
Yeah.
And as soon as he missed his first squat, my coach Ben looks at me and he goes, "Go take it." And so we were going to deadlifts. I was down by 33 pounds, but I knew I had a bigger deadlift than him. And I just walked right up to him like, "Let's give him a show, baby."
Yeah.
You know? And I think he was like, "Wait, what?" And my Mike, so Mike came with me to Worlds.
Yep.
And you know, he'd seen my nationals meet, but he'd never seen powerlifting besides that.
Yeah.
He like runs up to Ben, and I think I had my headphones in, but they were on, I had them paused. I think Ben thought I couldn't hear him.
Yep.
I'm like walking away to get a drink or something, and Mike goes, like, "What's going on?" Like, he's down 33, like, and Ben just looks at me and goes, "He's gonna win." And I don't know,
Yep.
I've kind of, probably sound arrogant, but I've always had this like, I know I'm gonna go and do what I do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So
well,
if it comes down,
you put in all the time. You know when you get there, I put the work in.
yeah, well I know like, I'm like, if I'm just in striking distance, and it comes down to a last deadlift.
Yeah, you wouldn't want it to be Layne that's coming up next, right?
Actually, so LS McLean, the guy I was telling you about,
Yeah.
he won Worlds as an alternate. So he didn't win nationals, but he got to go to Worlds.
Yeah.
And ended up winning as an alternate. But they were interviewing him afterwards. This is like 2017, I want to say. And he goes, "Yeah, man, I'm really glad Layne's not here because if he needed like 800 pounds on the bar to win, I'm pretty sure he'd get it."
And we all got dreams, we all want things. But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe we can do anything? And what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Nice. Up. Dos more. Uno más. Nice. Whew. So, all right, now I gotta ask a dumb gaming question. Which Apex legend would I be?
Which Apex legend would you be?
Yes.
Ooh. I'm trying to think of someone who's like mainly brains. I feel like Fuse because you're jacked, but you're also, I think you're a lot smarter than Fuse is.
Okay.
So it's like,
You're trying to either pick the jack guy or the smart guy.
yeah, Layne, maybe like Crypto.
Well, is it?
Crypto's like, he's like mad science. He's kind of like, not mad scientist, but he's like a scientist. Very like tech heavy, but he is actually kind of jacked still.
Okay.
So maybe Crypto would be a good one.
Okay.
He's got a lot of skills when it comes to like he'd be the more science type.
I got skills. I got skills. All right, and Carbon. If Carbon was a person, which one would Carbon be?
Cartman.
Carbon. Yeah, the app. If we can make that a person.
In Apex.
Yeah.
Maybe like Bangalore.
Bangalore?
Yeah, because I feel like Carbon is like very, I don't know, like just the app itself. I have the same mind, like discipline. It comes along with the app.
Yeah.
And Bangalore is very like military minded, like hardcore. Like, I think that kind of would make sense.
Okay, cool. Well, now I know what I'm going to play if I go and do a.
No, we'll put on someone different than Crypto.
No,
he's a great, like when it comes to lore and everything, he's a great character. In the actual gameplay
not
right
so
now,
hot.
I mean, it might be actually pretty good. You fly a drone around and it scans it for your team, and then your
Okay.
team just goes and destroys them basically.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I bet we could get Layne on a controller. We put him on the drone. He flies around. We could do it.
Okay.
We can do it.
All right, cool.
Let me get one other person. We'll put you on the drone. We can do it.
Sounds good. Maybe Mike Fox can take over the other one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah!
Let's go to work.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror, he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up, so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything.
Easy work. Easy. Woo! Easy work.
Well, sometimes you don't value something until you lose it.
100%. 100%.
So-
That's a lesson you got to learn.
Yeah.
That's one of I don't think you can really get. You can't be taught that. That's something you have to kind of experience.
You have to experience. I do a little bit like of a motivational speech, and part of it is talking about confidence.
Right.
And I'm like, listen, some things you can read about and learn. You can't become confident without experience.
Yep.
It just will not happen.
Yeah.
Like if you have failed at everything you ever tried, or you quit everything you ever tried, you shouldn't be confident.
Yeah.
Like why would you be any reason? Because that would just be arrogance, because all the evidence says you don't finish.
Yep. Yep.
But you can get past that, and I think Alex Hormozy said this, and I really like the quote, confidence is not shouting affirmations at yourself in the mirror.
Yep.
It's having a stack of irrefutable evidence
Yep.
that you do the shit that you say you're gonna do.
Yep.
I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
Well,
That's how you find out. That's how you find out
shows
who you are.
What's
That's
that?
how you find out who you really are.
Right.
It's
right.
not through what you think, because like
Yeah.
it kind of to pass it over into like diet or something. You can think you're doing something, but until you're tracking it, until you know what you're actually doing, the actual actions that you're taking, you don't really know who you are. And like
Exactly.
Jordan Peterson, he'll always say, you may think you know who you are, but you need to really look at your actions to see if that's what you really believe.
That's, the biggest change in my life over the last year is having people in my life who support me, who care about me, who give me all the credit in the world when I do something right, and who also put the mirror on me, and when I fuck up, go, hey, and it's been so great because they'll say, like, these people will say, we know this wasn't your intention.
Yeah.
But here's what you did.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so, do you want to be somebody who's about your words or somebody who's about your actions?
Right.
And, you know, I'd love to say I'm perfect at it, but I'm definitely not.
Right.
But, like, you know, having that, you know, that balance between accountability and then also support, man, that's been fucking huge for me.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's what we need more of. I think society in general needs more of that. A lot more action looking than.
And we're running. We're running away from accountability.
Yeah.
We are sprinting away from accountability. Yeah. You know, you see it with so much stuff where it's like, you know, it's so. I think it's just really uncomfortable for people, the idea of accountability, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're accountable, it means that there's stuff that's your fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you don't have to be accountable to anything, if there's no responsibility and nothing's your fault, then you can't fix anything either, you know? And so I'm like, you can either look at accountability as like scary and a shot to the ego, or you can look at it as like, this is actual freedom because I have the ability to change things.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Why don't we go up here by the front and we can film a wrap up.
Yep.
Dude, that was
awesome,
fun.
man.
Yeah, man,
Hey,
you killed it. You killed
love
it.
lifting you, brother.
What's that?
Only reason I killed it is because I've learned all this stuff from you. I'm telling you, man.
I do
I'm
declare.
telling you.
He flattered me too much.
All right, guys, man, we just finished up with the lift. Layne.
Killed it, dude.
Dude, I appreciate it, man, but Layne, someone I've looked up to for a super long time. I've been following Layne since 2012, 2013, and when it comes to anything diet fitness related, a lot of you guys know, you watch my streams all the time, I always say, check out Layne, man. Layne is the man when it comes to anything, the behind all the nutrition. He calls out BS all the time, like so many people out there get confused because of all the stuff that goes out there on the internet, and Layne's always someone you can go to and he's gonna set you straight. He's gonna be like, hey, these are the things to focus on. It's not gonna be the over-the-top fancy things you wanna hear, right? But it's gonna be the things that matter. It's gonna be the things to focus on, and you know, that's why you've accomplished so much in so many different vectors of your life, and I really appreciate you setting this all up, that I was able to come out here, hit a lift with you. Where can all the people find you?
Yeah, so best place to find me is I'm at BioLayne on pretty much every platform.
Yep.
And then my website's biolayne.com, so pretty easy. That's where you can find all my stuff.
That's awesome, man. Definitely, guys, go check out Layne's site, follow him on all of his social media, check out Carbon as well. When it comes to anything, managing your weight, gaining weight, losing weight, I always say, hey, it's the best resource out there. So check out Carbon, check out the app, and hey, man, it was awesome. Appreciate lifting with you.
Appreciate it.
And hey, we'll have to,
do it again.
Maybe one day we get you on for like an hour on a little game and to answer some more questions for the chat. I bet that would be flipping something.
That'd be
really
fun.
awesome.
I'll do that.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Later, guys.